Today I want to talk to you about how to approach new repertoire. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Violin Playing. Learning new repertoire is both exciting and annoying at the same time. Because yes, you're learning a new piece, and that's fun and all, but there's a lot of figuring out required to get it up to performance level. Here are my 4 tips for anybody starting a new piece. Number 1. Write down your fingerings and bowings and stick with them. We don't only remember a piece acoustically, you also remember it using your muscle memory. That's why you have to make sure to play the same fingerings and bowings, especially at the beginning. Find fingerings and bowings that are both comfortable and also make sense musically. Consider things like, what string do I want to play this on, for color? Open strings versus pressing down with the finger. Harmonic or no harmonic? Where does a shift make sense musically? Where can a shift be actually a musical enhancement rather than just a way of getting from one position into another? Sometimes I write the fingerings on top of every single note. It helps me to jam the information more quickly into my brain. Here's an example of my sheet music for the Bartók violin concerto back when I was learning it. You see there's a finger on top of every single note, so I don't have to rely entirely on just reading those crazy accidentals that are all over the place. Sometimes I even write those little wedges here to show where there's a half step or not, especially when there are some unusual scales happening and I want to have it figured out as quickly as possible and don't have to actually read it every single time I work on it. Number 2. Use a metronome and know exactly what the rhythm is. Many times we listen to recordings of our idols. Nothing wrong with that. But those people have hopefully done their homework and they know what the piece actually sounds like if you just play dead soberly with a metronome. It's easy to escape the harsh reality of not knowing what's actually written by not turning on the metronome.
You can't handle the truth!
You will regret not having done that by the time you go to the first rehearsal. Another snippet of advice would be knowing where the 1 is in the bar. It helps me to understand the phrasing better as well. You can even accentuate the beat a little bit in your playing, just to feel where the beat is. Most of the music you're playing is very likely in very conventional meters anyway, like 4/4 or 3/4, and those things are very predictable. And it's important to keep the feeling of those meters. Unless of course you're dealing with freakier stuff like 5/4 or 7/4, in which case of course you're on your own. Number 3. Practice slowly. Once you have your fingerings and bowings together and you know the rhythm, repetition at slow speeds is your best friend. Of course it's okay to increase the tempo with time, but it shouldn't be your priority. Playing slowly allows you to be hyper aware of every single tiny detail that's happening. What string do I play this on? What does the shift feel like? Etc. If you play too fast too soon, the danger is that the piece will be only in your muscle memory, which is more of a subconscious thing. What will happen is that you will be able to play the piece somewhat fast, but when asked to play it slowly, you won't be able to do it, because it's all just in your muscle memory and not in your conscious memory. Especially in stressful situations like on stage or when playing for somebody, you want to tackle the issue from both sides, so the muscle memory and the conscious memory. And if you can't play a piece slowly, you definitely won't be able to play it fast either. So do your homework, there are no shortcuts. Practice slowly, because being able to play a fast passage slowly is just as important as being able to play it fast. My 4th and final piece of advice: listen to recordings. This may be considered cheating by some, but I totally disagree. I think it's a great way of learning a piece way faster, especially if you're in a time crunch and you have to learn it really quickly. Also, it will give you a good idea of what's happening in the piano part or in the orchestra part or whatever you're working on. I would also encourage you to play the piece with the recording. Find a recording that's close to your idea of the tempo of the piece. This also applies to chamber music and orchestra pieces. Play your part along with the recording, and if you can manage, you'll be the best prepared person at the rehearsal.
I'm ready.
When it comes to recordings though, try not to imitate too much. If you watch some of my previous videos, you know that I'm a huge fan of imitation as a mean to gain certain skills. And it's totally fine to get inspired by certain aspects of a recording, but please make sure to still give the piece your own flavor. The world doesn't need another version of a recording that already exists. So there you have it, my 4 tips to anybody starting a new piece. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, subscribe, all that good stuff, show your support, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're looking for somebody to take your violin playing to the next level, I'll be happy to help you with one-on-one violin lessons through Skype or FaceTime. Just message me through my website, the link will be in the description below. Now get out there, get inspired, and dive into that new piece of yours. Happy practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.